All right, let's get coding. So the first thing we gotta do is create the actual fields. Over here, I'm gonna close the generator in the fake shop. Once we go to our checkout, we need to display some fields here, over here. To do that, we're gonna leverage some of the Woocommerce form field functions, and let me show you how to do that. So first of all, I'm gonna close everything. In our public facing folder, we're gonna go into the public class, and in here I'm gonna delete some boilerplate comments just to make it a bit more clear. In the constructor, we're gonna run this, run views. This is a function that hasn't been created yet, so we're going to public function run views. And in here, I'm gonna copy over a little bit of code, and I'll explain you right there. So we're gonna require once plugin dir path of this file into the views class delivery and pickup checkout view. This we haven't made this yet. I'm gonna delete the partial folder because I don't really like that naming convention. I'd rather go for views. So this is gonna be views, and then we're gonna create this class. Voila. Now we have to create a class. So class, first PHP class delivery and pickup checkout view, and let's open it. In here we need a checkout instance, which we're creating real soon, and we're writing a constructor public function construct. In this constructor, we'll check if Woocommerce is activated. So if in array Woocommerce PHP, if in array from apply, where we're getting that value, apply filters active plugins, and we're getting that from get option active plugins. This just makes sure that Woocommerce is activated before we're actually running it. Now some more boilerplate code. We're going to include Woocommerce in our plugin so we can access the checkout instance, and we're going to bind it to our class. Now we have to write our actions, which will display the checkout fields at action Woocommerce review order before payment. This hook will run, so this hook will run over here. So there we're going to print our fields. Because we're using classes, we have to initialize the functions like this. So this for this class, and then our checkout question field. This is a function we're going to create ourselves. So over here I'm going to do public function, and then we're going to get this function and we're going to run it. Now we'll have to create 3 fields. I'm going to copy them over. So this is the first. We're opening with a wrapper, so we have some CSS selectors, and then we have the first field. So echo class and the field wrapper. This is going to be a delivery and pickup type. This is the identifier. The type is radio, it's required. The classes is delivery and pickup, again for CSS. And then we have some options: takeaway, free pickup, delivery, which are translatable. And then we're leveraging our checkout variable, which we've initialized in our constructor, to get the value if it has already been set in the checkout session. We save this, and I'm going to make sure this is running. Normally we should see a field here if I didn't make any mistakes. I did make a mistake, so I'm finding out why. Okay, so I found 2 issues. The first one is that I didn't activate the plugin. I've activated it right now, and I've written an issue here, which is construct. It's construct. Normally this should fix it. And now here are our 2 fields which we have created. Nice. Now we need to add 2 more fields. The first one being the location field. So I've pasted it in here. Div class, that's again a wrapper for CSS selector. We've given an ID of delivery and pickup location. The label is it's a select field. It's required. Placeholder is choose a pickup point, and we give it 4 options. The first option is the 0 option, and then we have 3 pickup points. And then for the last field, the delivery wrapper. It's the pickup date field. It's a text field with a label of delivery on. It has an ID of delivery and pickup date picker, so we can select it with jQuery to initialize the date picker field. More of that later. And then I've added a custom attribute of read only true, so that users can't enter dates manually. If we save that and go back to the front end, you can see that all the fields are printed. So this is our first field, the radio field. We can switch. Then the second field is with the locations, and the delivery field, which is read only. I can't type in here. All we have to do now to end this chapter is wire up our jQuery date picker with this field we printed over here. To do that, we're going to go back into our public class, and we'll have to add some scripts. So first of all, in here in the CSS, in the styling queue, we're going to enqueue style jQuery UI date picker style, and this is going to be loaded from the Google API's Ajax links. Normally you put this in your CSS folder over here, but for now we're using the CDN. Then we're going to enqueue the script jQuery UI date picker. This is a script we have available from jQuery in WordPress, and we're just leveraging that. And then we'll have to insert the date picker script, so WP enqueue script, date picker. This is an identifier you can choose yourself. We have to create this file. It is dependent on jQuery and then some version things. So we'll have to create this file. So in the GS folder, for your public folder, create a file. You can remove this file because we're not going to need it, and you can also remove this line because that was enqueuing the file we just removed, which we don't need. Then in here we're going to write some JavaScript. So jQuery document.ready function. Let's grab the jQuery object, put it in a $sign, then we can use it. Over here we'll grab the delivery field. Like this. What this is going to do is we've created the field over here. That's why we've given it this ID. I can show you in the front end. Delivery field has an ID, and with that ID we can grab the field and we'll initialize a date picker. So date picker, open the object, the min date. I'm gonna put some date picker options in here. You can Google these on Google, but for now we'll just do date today. So the minimum date is today. So you can't pick any dates prior to this date. The date format is, I'm going to use a European format. And then we have a before show function. I'm going to grab the date picker again. And we're going to set the CSS font size to 13 pixels. So it's just a bit smaller, like this. Then we have one more function right before show date. Function this accepts the date. And in here I have a little bit of, just gonna put it here. Oh, I don't have to write it in here, like this. Voila. So before show date we'll get the date. If the date is 6, which is Saturday, or the date is 0, which is Sunday, we're not gonna the user will not be able to select the date, otherwise it will be. So with what that does is, this is not prior to the day, a little bit of font size CSS, and everything except the weekends. If we save that and everything runs fine, we should see the date picker loaded like this, and the user cannot enter dates manually. Awesome. Right now all the fields are still visible, so if you choose between pickup and delivery, nothing happens. It's normally when you choose pickup, only this field should be visible, and if you choose delivery, only this field, the date field, should be visible. So I'll write that code right now. Alright, so we're gonna create another JavaScript file, delivery and pickup selector.js. And of course, we also have to enqueue that. So in our scripts, in the public class, look at dap checkout is the file we just created. So in this file, let's start writing some code. First of all, I'm going to write some helper functions which we're going to use. So function block UI is jQuery order review block with some options, message null, overlay CSS is background white, and the opacity 0.6. Okay, and we also need a function to unblock UI is jQuery order review unblock. So this is gonna help when we click on things, then we block the UI so the user can't make a lot of actions right after each other. It's a bit of a throttling. All right, now we need a document ready function, so jQuery document, jQuery document ready function get the object. All right, first things first, I'm gonna put a function show flex in here. You can just copy this over, so $.function.showFlex is this CSS flex. We're gonna use this later on. Now we're gonna initialize some variables. So first we're gonna get the delivery and pickup. So I'm gonna go tab delivery pickup is $sign delivery and pickup. Or takeaway is delivery and pickup takeaway. Bar delivery is delivery and pickup delivery pickup. All right, let's console log all these things so I can show you what you're doing. Voila. Normally if I refresh this, open my console, we should see everything printed. So right here, the first is this object, so that's this one. And then these two are this one, and I've made a typo here, it seems delivery and pickup. Okay, let's refresh. Now the last one is also put. Nice, great. Let's do a small check. So let's check if all fields exist. If not this, or not this, or not this, then return. This is just a sanity check. I'm gonna write a little helper function, because right now if we press enter, for example, I haven't entered my name here, if we press enter, I am scrolled to the top, which is great. In my previous example I was not scrolling to the top, so I've written a small helper function. I'm just going to paste it in here, jQuery document body on checkout error. So we're listening for this event, then we'll stop what's happening and we'll animate scroll top to the Woocommerce error, which is this class, Woocommerce error, and the browser will scroll to it. If it's not working for you, you can implement this, but it seems it was working for me by itself. Then we'll write our toggle visible fields function. So function toggle visible fields. Let's get a selected answer or selected choice. The answer is, let's get it from this DOM element. Find, we'll look for an input which is checked, and we'll get the value out of that. Let's see what that means. And of course, we've got to run this function. Voila, takeaway has been selected. Nothing is happening yet because we haven't created our custom event listeners yet, but the plugin knows takeaway is selected. Great. What we're going to do next is we're going to make sure takeaway is set to its default state. So delivery and pickup location prop selected index 0. We set the default state. What this is gonna do, it's gonna select this field, as you can see, delivery and pickup location, and it's gonna set the first option when refreshing, or when visible fields are toggling. When you're switching between these two, it's gonna select this first option. And now let's create a logic that defines what the user sees. So if selected answer is take away, we do jQuery place order remove attribute disabled. This is just something I have to write because we're going to implement it later, but this will re-enable the button if it was disabled for any other things. So it's just a sanity check, and then we're going to check the takeaway. We're going to run the show flex function. So takeaway is the DOM element we selected here, and we're going to use the show flex element, which we binded to the jQuery object to show the takeaway field, and we're going to hide the delivery field. Other way around, else we switch these around. So hide here and show flex here. So if the selected answer is takeaway, we're showing takeaway and we're hiding delivery. If it's not, we're hiding takeaway and we're showing delivery. Let's check that out. Voila, right here, deliver. There's something wrong. Let's figure out what it is. I'm gonna remove those console logs, we don't need them anymore. Ah yes, we're not listening for anything. That's right. So in our field here, we're gonna do document on change. What are we gonna listen for? A change of this field, so these radio buttons. If one of these is selected, we're gonna run the function toggle visible fields. So we're gonna get the input name is we're gonna open brackets and close them. So name is delivery and pickup type. What we're gonna do, we're gonna call the toggle visible fields function. So we're calling it on run, and we're calling it whenever something is changed. That's very important. Normally this should work. Cannot add GUI on string. Gotta figure out what's wrong because it's not working right now. Alright, it seems I made some mistakes, so we're gonna fix those. So first of all, I've written take away. This should be away. And also, if you're gonna call this function, you can't put the parentheses after it. You have gotta call it as a variable. You can see that now free pickup is selected, and if when I select delivery, it's only showing delivery date, which is great. Awesome. Just a quick thing, I've written some CSS to make everything look a bit better. I'm just gonna copy it over here. I will link a paste bin file which contains a CSS code, and you can just put it in your project because we're not learning CSS here. So let's see how we do that. I'm gonna create a file, delivery, I'm gonna leverage the public file we already have here. My bad. And I'm just gonna paste this CSS in here. I will put this in a paste bin. Let's see, normally this should look a bit better now. So it's a bit away from each other, and the field is spanning over the entire bit. Awesome.